Welcome to the High Ground Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. I'm so excited about starting this new season. So many people to meet, and what other way to start with someone that's a bit of a bittersweet relationship, this one. I've known you, I think, for the last 3 years. We've been connected on LinkedIn. I've tried to hire you on many occasions, but Linda, lovely to have you here. It's an absolute pleasure to be having first episode with you today. And I'll literally pass the ball on to your call and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit more about you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be here. And about me, sharing why I'm here. I'm a certified architect, okay? So I did architecture for 10 years, but then I discovered tech and SaaS, and I loved it as well. And I said, why not? Why not pivot? So I started in tech sales 8 years ago. And since then, I've been doing a lot of selling, basically in many positions in HR tech and many industries, and understanding different industries, traditional industries, healthcare, devices. And lately, I've been working in HR tech for the past 5 years. And from there, I've seen a lot of things going on in the go-to-market area.
Cool. No, I've obviously, we've been following each other for a long time now. I've seen that, it's interesting because you've had that, like, your background really sort of puts everything into, you've worked in different industries. You've worked in, when the whole pandemic came, you worked with some very interesting companies that were pioneering that sort of remote setup as well, right? So, again, first episode, I want to talk about how GTM has been changing, or the GTM space has been changing since 2023. What an absolute disaster of a year. We've spoken about this in the first season, but I think the other side, or the other part of, or the other departments that never got mentioned in a lot of these conversations were the GTM departments, right? And I'm keen, during the next 5 episodes, I'm keen to listen to different GTM leaders and tell me about their experience post 2023. But I guess that that's going to be my first question, right? What was your experience after 2023? What's changed? What hasn't changed? What do you see up and coming in the future?
Sure. Okay. So what I saw is that in 2023, there was a lot of money going around in different industries and in the tech environment in general. Okay. So after COVID, a lot of companies boom. Okay. There was a lot of money in investments, venture capital, founding a lot of companies, a lot of unicorns were created, different industries, and they were all selling to each other. Okay, so companies were selling product to each other, and they were developing as well methodologies. But then in 2024, we started seeing a change. Okay, companies actually seeing, hey, is this giving me money back? Is my investment making sense? And in 2025 is the consolidation of what 2024 started. It's like, hey, I need to show that what I bought is actually bringing me money back, okay, ROI. So instead of just buying because it's a cool tool to have,
cool stuff to, yeah,
they need to show that it actually works, and they need to prove that it's not only working, but it's also needed.
Yeah, obviously you've been at the front line of all of this, right? And I can just imagine. 2023 was that gold, or before that, it was the golden era where you framed it really well. It was really cool tool. We must have it for the company, and sometimes, you brought in this amazing tool and it did literally nothing, right, for the business. And, you ended up finding that hardly anyone was using it, right? And then post 2023, you being in that space, having to sell a product or having to get a product in front, you must have had so many rejects and so many uncomfortable questions that it's unimaginable, right?
Yes, in sales, not interested is given. Okay, so so you need to find the people who is interested, and in 2023, that was the main thing. Like, hey, we need to find the people who's interested. And now the main change is that the market is now using other tools that they're proving that they're they're showing their interest, and it's a base signal. Okay, so this is the main change from what I see from that era. So from 2023 was like, hey, I'm going for everyone, and right now is, hey, I'm targeting who is actually wanting to buy.
And like, do you feel that some of these tools, post 2023 they've needed to adapt, or some of these platforms have needed to adapt to these specific decision makers? Instead of being your out the box, this is what you get. Now it's about adapting to that decision maker. Do you feel that was more of it was becoming more common?
Yes, I've seen all the tools that I've been using. They are adapting. Okay, first of all, AI is here to change. Okay, AI is changing the way we work in general, not only in sales. Every system is now changed by AI. So all the tools are modifying and rebuilding themselves to fit that market. Okay, if a company is selling orchestration, now it's orchestration with AI. If a company is selling a product that is for outreach, now they're selling personalization at scale. If a company they were selling, now their products are AI based. Okay, so the main change is that not only the market changed, but the way we're working, it's changing, and the main adaptation will be with AI. But AI, I do think that it won't take jobs, but you need to adapt it right.
Oh, you've said the magic. You've said like the magic phrase there. It won't take jobs. We're going to talk about that in a bit as well.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do, because many people fear that AI will take their jobs, but I do think that it's not. As you said, companies are adapting, and what are they adapting and changing? That same mindset should go to every individual in each company. It's about mindset, and people, they drive the company. So they need to start with the people saying, hey, we're in an era where we're changing and you need to adapt. And that same feeling, it should be to the company, because at the end, companies are run by people.
Yeah. No, you're completely right. I think that, I've been a big user of AI for the last, 2 years, right? I started using very basic functions of AI back in the day. And I think I look at AI as something that helps me scale, right? It doesn't necessarily take over my job. Or it sounds weird what I'm going to say, but I've actually tried to get AI to take over my job, right? And it still needs my input, right? It needs my continuous input, right? And that's, that can sound even sick, right? That I'm trying to get AI to take over my job. But going back to what you were talking about, like AI companies buying products and whatnot, I think there's been a big sentiment, AI, obviously, I agree with you, it's here to stay. But there's been it's impacted the GTM space quite a bit, right? And you see all these sales enablement tools coming out of, thin air, right? Everywhere you look, it's sales enablement, this, email this. And then the other side of it is that a lot of these functions, SDR roles, for example, right? They're going into thin air all of a sudden. You before that, that era where we're looking for senior SDR, lead SDR, this, that, all of a sudden those kind of jobs are starting to sort of, disappear, right? What is and people get scared. They ask me this question, is AI going to take over my job? But how do you see that? How's that evolving in the GTM space? Is the SDR figure disappearing? Is the account executive figure going to disappear at some point?
I don't think that they're going to disappear. Okay, so we went from an era, from a PLG, from product-led environment to sales-led environment, and in the sales-led environment, and I've been following the SDR organization very close for the past years, and the sales in general. But during the for the SDR role, it's adapting. Right now, SDRs are smarter. And when I say SDRs are not telemarketers. So this is the main thing that also people need to understand. Like
in here, yeah.
The misconception. What does an SDR? What they do? Okay, an SDR is like a Swiss knife. Like, they need to prospect, they need to understand, they need to find the buyer. But right now, tools are helping find the buyer faster. Tools are helping the outreach faster. Things that SDRs did in the past manually. Okay, but there are many things that you still need one person to do, and it's to find the right lead. Okay. So what the role is changing is from the role started like SDRs were individual contributors that they were scheduling calls to SDRs being part of opportunity creation, of qualification, of proper qualification, understanding, and then bringing a deal to an AE to close it. So the SDR right now is actually doing more for a deal, and sometimes they're bringing deals that they're almost close for the AEs. Okay, so and I've seen SDRs that are very mature with master's degrees, that are very qualified. It's not only something that hey, do this. No.
You don't wake up one morning and say, "Oh, I'm going to be an SDR," right? There's definitely got to be some love into that, and I guess that obviously you and I've been speaking quite a bit, right? And I know you love investigating. You're taking yourself to the next level in terms of AI. What have you been investigating? What have you been looking into? Talk to me a little bit more, because I want to know because you're into this, the GTM space is your space. You love learning about it. Like, what AI tools are you sort of looking into? Like, what other tools are you sort of studying about?
Okay, so the AI, first of all, I discovered that it's a world that has machine learning, has LLM, like large language models. They have so many versions. And how we're using each of them is very important on how we architecture the go-to-market teams. Okay, so right now I'm investigating and testing tools for orchestration. Okay. And why this is because I'm interested in finding ways to enable teams and to enable salespeople to close deal faster, to understand what they're selling, to understand why they're selling it as well.
I'm going to be charging, by the way, anyone watching this, I'm going to be charging a premium if you're going to give the recipe for this, by the way. I'm charging a premium for watching this episode.
I mean, I'm creating my own hypothesis, okay? I want to test it, but I'm building something, but it's out of my own personal conception, okay? So let's see. But what I'm thinking is, hey, what if we combine different worlds? What if we combine orchestration? What if we combine the information that we have with AI, and we combine it with other industries and things that we were talking about? When you think about tech, you only think about tech like this, okay? And you only think about tech like, hey, I'm selling tech to tech. But no, there are many other industries, and there are many other ways to do things outside of tech, that if you bring that, and even old ways to do stuff, you bring that old ways to do stuff to adapt it to the new ways. We were talking about lean environment, high productivity, and we try to combine all of this and create new processes where people are first. And that's another thing. When you understand how people learn and how people are motivated as well, if you combine that and you enable them properly, then you're going to have a successful go-to-market team. It's not just, hey, learn about this product and sell it. No, it's love this product, understand it, and sell it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is definitely changed, right? And why I know, even from a recruitment aspect, right? You know, when I get approached, you now start seeing it's not your typical, and obviously completely different, right? But now you start seeing a lot of recruiters actually really sort of talking to you about the product and living and breathing it, right? And I think that's one of the big things that I've always said, right? Anyone, you know, you join my team, I want you to become like, you know, in my case, it's Mixmax, the Mixmax specialist, right? I want you to be able to sell Mixmax to a candidate, right? And I think I'm starting to see there's a bigger trend towards people actually becoming really good at learning what their product does. And as you said, and you couple that with good enablement, I think, you know, there is an architecture there to follow for sure.
Oh, definitely. And about Mixmax, I think it's a wonderful tool. Like even I've been using the free version of Mixmax, and I test the as well the paid version. And for the free version, if anyone's watching, you can download it yourself, and you can see for free who's reading your emails, like stuff that you would only have with paid tools. And then you can schedule and have your you can schedule meetings, you can attach it to your calendar. So this is already paid in other services, and Mixmax has it for free. And then for companies, have a tool that is fully integrated with your email is very easy to use.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing about Mixmax.
Oh, listen, I think that, you know, I started life in sales, right? And that's how I discovered Mixmax, right? Very sort of basic version of Mixmax. But back in the day, it was already something that, you know, helped me be much better at my job. Like today, I can't even imagine, you know, I use it on a day-to-day basis, obviously, so I'm biased, right? But, you know, any colleague of mine that's used Mixmax, you know, they've always said the same, right? It's a brilliant tool to use, simple, it's very sort of user-friendly, and it gets them from point A to point B, which is, at the end of the day, what salespeople want, right? What I think, I'm not sure if this is even a good, I'm not sure if this is, you know, if this question is actually going to bring a little bit of noise to the channel, right? But what are the common mistakes you are seeing companies make right now? And I've got like a list of them, by the way, but I want to hear it from you, especially from the GTM space, because sometimes I read these posts about, we no longer need salespeople and we no longer need this. And it's almost like, dude, please.
Okay, so when you have thousands of, like, let's say millionaire deals, let's call it millionaire deals, but it can be a 5K deal, okay? You don't want to buy it from a computer, okay? You don't want to buy it directly. You don't want to buy it just from a product-led motion, okay? You want to buy it from people. You want to have the security that someone will respond to. You want to know that if you're paying for a service and you're paying, I don't know, thousands of dollars for a service, you want to have a conversation, because at the end, people buy from people, even if it's tech, okay? Not if you're buying a subscription of $100, okay? Companies, they don't care about a subscription that is $100, but they do care about services that they're costing a lot of money to them, okay? So they need to make sure that someone will respond, and actually are going to respond, and that they're compliant as well with their local laws. That's another important thing, compliance, okay? All the tools should be compliance per country. And one of the mistakes that I'm seeing is that one thing is, it's every company has their own methods, okay? Every company creates their own system. This is okay. But some people, they want to sell tech in old ways, like if it's a service sold by phone only, for example, or companies relying a lot only on cold calling, okay? I do believe in warm calling, okay? When you're...
Does cold calling even exist? And I'm sorry for interrupting, but does cold calling even...
yeah. Cold calling is real. Cold calling in tech 2025 is very real. Like if you Google cold call, and you can read in the sales environment a lot of posts saying cold calling is not dead. No, cold calling is not dead. I do think that warm calling is good, and there are a lot of tools making a lot of money of phone of cold calling.
That's so cool. Like I started cold calling. That was my life. So a lot of colleagues listening to this, like they will relate to that. So I started live cold calling, and then like we went through a period where cold calling was, it was Satan, right? It was Satan. You were not a well received person. But then I've like, everyone has this thing that cold calling has died, right? And it's no longer a thing. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. I still get called by different suppliers and by different companies asking me if I'm interested in this, if I'm interested. Now, one thing is that, the other thing is I'm interested or not, and you end up putting the phone down, right? But coming from sales, you always give them that time of day, right? Because you think, I was at the other end of that phone once. So, but it's interesting. I like that view. I didn't know that cold calling was still a thing.
Cold calling is 100% a thing, okay? And in tech, a lot of companies, they're relying as cold calling as their first way of connecting with people. And I do think that giving a right phone call to the right person at the right moment,
powerful.
Yes,
it's powerful.
100%, because I've done it like many times. Like I've had conversations with people at the right moment. But yeah, I investigate. I said, why I'm calling you? What's the context? I'm not just calling out of the blue saying, hey, I'm calling because I know your name and your phone number. No, I'm calling you because you might have an interest in this product. This is why you need it, and this is what is solving for you. Absolutely. And when you make a phone call that is powerful, yes, that converts into a deal, and that can convert into a close one. Okay.
Nice.
But relying on a list that is 1,000. Okay, so right now, what's the go-to-market environment? Okay, many companies are using enrichment tools. Are you familiar with those tools?
Yes, I am familiar. Yes.
Okay, so a lot of companies are using enrichment tools and then signal-based tools. Okay, so if you ever visit a website, then you click, hey, I accept cookies. That's what the cookies are.
I swear to God, my mobile phone hears me anyway. So like, cookies like yesterday's era. My phone. I've only got to speak about something and it knows what I'm looking for. Like,
your phone knows. Everything that you search online is traceable. Yeah. Okay, so there are many signals that are being sold by companies, and then you create an account-based outreach. Okay, and this is how 2023 is changing to now 2025. In 2023, you had you created your own list. Okay, you created, hey, I'm going to find my ICP, and then you would create a list from your ICP. Now, in 2025, you have an intent-based signal and an enrichment tool that once you define your ICP, then it's going to create and enrich by itself. Then you're going to have a full CRM with a lot of data that you can work with. And when you create that outreach, it can be very powerful. Going back to the mistakes, I would say that relying only on the tools is a mistake. Okay.
That's why I was like, I'm listening and I'm thinking, these tools, obviously they've brought power to sales, right? They're giving sales teams a lot more firepower, but this doesn't mean you're closing more deals, or this doesn't mean that sales is gone, right? It's almost like, yes, it's made it easier from an admin point of view, but I feel that it's still the same, like, hard shit. Like, it's still very, very tough.
If the book of business they can give you a book of business, and they can tell you, hey, have this 1,000 account, okay, or have this 100 account. But if those 100 account are not the right ICP, and it's a not properly curated book of business, it doesn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
And if the enrichment tool has data that is not updated, that's a waste of time as well.
Again, human element. There's human element in there as well. There's too much human element still, right? Which positive in some ways, but okay.
No, yeah. And then you can use, like, I would invite salespeople to check their book of business, like, hey, challenge it, like, understand it, and challenge your RevOps team. Say, hey, this is a proper book of business. This is not a proper book of business. Should I go for my accounts? Are you giving me the accounts? How, like, that playbook is given by leadership anyway. But understanding that you, as well as a salesperson, you have your own personal tools that you can use. Okay. Now with ChatGPT, with Claude, there are many systems out there that, just parenthesis here, you need to be careful what you share. Okay. You cannot just upload all your book of business, but then you can create stuff and investigate your territory and your market segment and say, hey, what's the cultural nuance of this territory? Because if you're working in a global environment, you're not going to communicate the same way in Spain that you communicate in the Nordics. It's very different.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess that, if you were, I'm putting you on the spot here as well. If you were starting in GTM from scratch today, what would you do differently? What would you what would be your roadmap to be successful?
Okay, so I would say I would combine the design thinking to the go-to-market, and the design thinking and how designer thinks is that first they need to investigate, they need to create it's like the scientific method. You need to investigate, you need to plan it, you need to map it, and then you need to execute it. Okay, so sellers, they're executors. Okay, but before you're going to the execution part, you need to build you need to build all that first. I would say that intent is the first thing you need to validate if people, they're willing to buy your product. Okay, so from there, I would create the architecture of the whole environment, of the whole go-to-market environment. I would say after you investigate and you prove your theory, and then you launch your product, you need to start iterating and changing as the product. The go-to-market is a team. It's a live. It's a team that is live. It's a living organization. It needs to adapt. It needs to change fast, and you need to validate your own stuff. But as well, once you have one thing, you need to continue the line, but then reinventing it, but in the same line. I don't know if it makes sense. From the same line, you need to rewind several times, but try to keep it in the same line to the main goal, that is making money.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I hear you. I think that, you know, taking myself back when I started in sales, it was very much what you said, right? Here's a book of business, or this is what you need to go and do, and all you did was pick up the phone and just start making calls and whatnot. But I think today, as you said, right, it's about creating that process, actually understanding where you're going before actually executing on it, and then, as you said, iterate and get better. And I think that, you know, I've always said that, and I think today that's what makes someone good in sales, right? That they know their process, they understand what a win rate is, they know how to get to that win rate and repeat, right? Which is cool. For anyone starting in GTM, right? Because I think there's still a lot of people, I've met a lot of people over the last, I think, probably month or so, that are looking to sort of step away from, you know, recruitment, for example, and go back into that account management role. Become that. Some of them wanting to get back into sales, which is quite rare, right? Someone that's been in talent acquisition wanting to get back into that realm. Like, what would you recommend moving into 2026 for someone wanting to start their career in GTM?
I would say they need to map their skills, okay? And this will help them not only in sales, but in any career pivot and any career change. I would say they need to map their skill, okay? So in the go-to-market environment, there are many positions, okay? So you have a hunting team that are executors, that are the SDRs, that are the ones that are creating the pipeline. You then have, from the SDR organization, you have a lot of positions there, team leads, managers, directors, VPs. You have one whole organization with the SDR. Then you have the account executive team. Then you have the customer success team. You have the account development team. You have the RevOps team. You have the go-to-market strategist. You have a lot of positions. Once you map, and I invite you to see one of my latest posts called The Architecture of Sales. And you can map yourself, on LinkedIn. So you can map yourself with your skills, and you can have a chat with ChatGPT and say, hey, Chat, I have these skills. Where do you see I can thrive? If I'm good cold calling, if I'm good closing, then you're an AE. But if you're good closing and upselling, then you're a CSM. But if you're good solving as well, you're a solution consultant. And there are many positions in the go-to-market that have different skills, but you need to identify them first so you can go for them. And many people, they have different, like they have a full complete set of skills, but there are people that are really good at a very few one.
Yeah. No, it makes complete sense. And I think, you know, it's given everything that happened in 2023, a lot of people started, you know, wanting to reinvent themselves, actually coming out of what they've been doing for the last 6-7 years. I've known people in marketing which have gone into customer success. I've known people in sales which have gone into, you know, taking the route into customer success. Recruiters that have also said, okay, well, recruiters, more or less agency-based recruiters, had it a little bit easier jumping into that sales role, but people in talent acquisition making moves into customer success and sales. So it's good, and I will share that link because I think it's definitely very valuable. It's a very good post as well to sort of understand your skill set. But Linda, I can't thank you enough for, you know, taking part in the first episode. I think it's always wonderful to speak to you. I think you're a very, very talented person, especially when it comes to the sales domain and the GTM space. I will be leaving a link to your profile, your LinkedIn profile, in the video description. But this said, thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Alex.